succinct as possible. Councillor James Cole.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Masters, for bringing this petition to Council. As you now know, we agree this Council should declare a climate emergency. There's good reason to do so. Global temperatures are rising. If the rate of rise continues, the world is unlikely to see a change of as little as 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels the Paris Agreement prescribed. Whilst we agree with the sentiments behind this petition, in practical terms we cannot accept it as it stands because of some of the wording. In particular, we cannot provide an outline strategy by 1st of June. The Constitution requires us to vote tonight on the exact wording that your signatories signed on. However, we're not going to hide behind this Constitution. We agree that the country should set an example where it can, and that this Council must be part of that example. The ideas from the West Berkshire Green Exchange have shown that this is a cross-party issue. And a Council can make a difference with at least some of the major contributors to the problem. For example, burning fossil fuels, deforestation, methane from landfill, and poor use of land, but not with all of them. There's little we can directly do about something like the increasing resource use of an increasing world population. While the formal declaration of climate emergency will have to go to the next full council, this meeting was called to discuss your petition, work has already started. In a few minutes, Councillor Sumner will tell us a little of what this council is already doing, and later Councillor Doherty will tell us some additional things in the pipeline. To use your initial wording, we will work towards a 2030 deadline. In fact, we're happy to strive for 2030. But we know we'll have to prioritise our climate actions, and we still have to balance what we do environmentally for the future against our economic and social priorities of today. We have to look after our children. I propose, therefore, that we agree option 3 as outlined by the Chairman, namely to commission a further investigation into the matter. By this I mean that there should be a cross-party discussion to seek to arrive at a consensus wording for a motion to put to the next council meeting. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Right, first of all, is that seconded? Yeah. Right, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much. Being guided by the Council's Constitution as to our 3 options, I would like to make the following proposal, please. I think that tonight West Berkshire Council should declare a climate emergency and that we should pledge to become carbon neutral by 2030. I don't think we should use the technicality that the petition mentions June, because the petition was handed in January. We've waited 4 months already, and I really don't think that the public will be very happy if we throw it out tonight on a technicality. So therefore my proposal is that we declare a climate emergency tonight and pledge to become carbon neutral by 2030, and we can indeed go away from this council chamber and, as you propose, set up a working group and work towards a plan and a strategy for how we can do that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Right. I have a number of people wishing to speak. Councillor Dillon.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My group support 100% the aims of this petition, and we thank all of the residents of West Berkshire who added their names to it so that we could debate it here tonight. It is a shame the Constitution only allows 15 minutes for a debate that's attracted thousands of signatures, but we are where we are. And actually, I think the proposal outlined by Councillor Cole and seconded by Councillor Abb is the right way to proceed tonight. Whether the debate was 15 minutes or 15 hours tonight, we would not get to the bottom of what we need to do to make sure that we are as close to carbon neutral as we can be by 2030. So what do we need to do? Well, in my view, in my group's view, we need to collectively get round together outside of the chamber, some type of workshop arrangement where we can hear from experts so that they can brief us so that when we declare an emergency we're aware of what we're declaring, but that also we can start talking through some of the ways that we can resolve it. We have people on all sides of the chamber that have got particular specialities and interest in particular areas of energy saving and energy production, and they should be able to enter the debate properly as well. And then we can come up with an action plan, Mr. Chairman, that the members in this chamber can sign up to, and I don't believe we can if we task, in effect, the administration to do that in 3 days. And I also think then we can get the public's input into it properly as well, through consultation. And then when we go to deliver it, we will be delivering it together as cross-party support in this chamber and with community support backing it as well. And I think that will send a clearer message to the government that we need the resources to help tackle it, that we need the funding to help tackle it, and we need strategic decisions made at senior government level, right down to the local level, to always be considering the impact, the environmental impact which policy decisions have. There's a particular graph that sticks in my mind, Mr. Chairman. It actually mirrors my lifespan well. And it says, your parent was born in 1950, you were born in the 80s, you had children around about now. When my eldest son, Oliver, who is 6, is due to retire, if we do nothing, then the temperatures are set to rise by another 4 degrees. We know how catastrophic it is if temperature goes over 1.5 degrees. Now, I do not, as a councillor, and with the ability to be able to affect some small change, do not want to leave my children to have to deal with it. So you can guarantee that my vote will be to get us to carbon neutral, and my group will support that as well. But councils have procedures and have policies, and unfortunately I think the way outlined as said by Councillor Cole is the right way to proceed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Dillon. Councillor Abs.
Thank you. I'm actually very pleased to have been elected at this time as a new member of the council. It's great. I actually get to try and take some action, and I'm a person of action. I know the Lib Dems around me want to take action now, as soon as we possibly can. However, we do need to frame this within the fact that we have a climate emergency already announced, May the 1st, and we really need, more than anything, is lead from Westminster as to what funding they're going to make available, because without funding from the central point, or even from the EU, we won't actually get as far as we hope to. In terms of the Lib Dems and what we've already been working on, because we already had a plan that we were working on to bring to council, we're ready, actually, or almost ready to bring that forward to public consultation, so I'm very happy to work with everybody to make sure that happens quickly as possible. I'd just like to give you 7 tactical act now strategies that we could possibly go for. Things like providing schemes to ensure 100% of residents and businesses use the most efficient lighting sources. Just look up, okay? It's low energy, but it's not the lowest energy. It's 60% to be saved in these lights alone, okay? Continues to push the installation approach that West Berkshire is doing, that's fine. But it's more than that. I want to see us deploy these micro-generation schemes. They've been talked about before. We've never done them. We are a valley. We have rivers running through them. We can do these things, and they're not as expensive as they were 10 years ago. So let's get on with it. And we want to push residents and businesses to use a green tariff energy strategy organised by West Berkshire. We have an energy strategy in terms of we negotiate a rate and then offer it to residents. I don't know if everybody's aware of that. Where's our green energy strategy? Let's harness what's already been doing by carbon offset and other people so we can reach our target as fast as possible. I really would like to see all new homes include an alternative energy generation sources. I actually don't want to see any new homes built or any estates built without being completely isolated from actually the national grid. They should be able to operate by themselves. There's lots of technologies now that can do that for us. I want to see EV charging points installed, yes, but charged from alternate energy sources. We have car park roofs. We can install things on those roofs that will charge those charging points. Anybody who wants to argue that an EV vehicle is not quite green, well, as long as it's charged with green energy, it's very green. And of course, we want to ensure that the road plans, the stuff that we do, because cars are not going away, maximise the flow of the traffic, which reduces the amount of emission as rapidly as possible.
Right, thank you. On my list, I have Councillor Somner.
Thank you, Chairman. It's important, I think, that whilst we acknowledge the concerns raised and accept the need and desire for action, we should also take time to recognise the positive actions here in West Berkshire already, whether they've been achieved or whether they're in progress, and whether they're in isolation or in partnership. Recycling. We recycle or compost over 51% of our residents' household waste. We divert 84% of household waste from landfill, and we continue to take advice and guidance for the future. Changes in our transport behaviours through car clubs, electric vehicle charging points, improving cycling facilities at 4 of our rail stations, reduction in queuing traffic on our roads, and to reduce issues from idling vehicles. Bids for funding. We've seen improvements to our highways network, park and rail facilities, improvements to Theale and Newbury stations, and again, there's more to come. Improvement to the national cycle network route 422 between Newbury and Ascot. Strategies pushing improved air quality action is an integral requirement in many policies and strategies that we do already have. Our freight strategies to route heavy goods away from Newbury unless they're unloading or loading. We're noted as being ahead of the game in our sustainable drainage strategy, and we look to continue and increase these where we possibly can. To take Councillor Abb's point, we have solar panels on this roof, and we have plans to introduce more solar panelling on more buildings and looking at the car park across the way as well. We will be taking part in the Clean Air Day on June the 20th. Thank you, Capital Macro, for reminding me earlier on. Councillors will see more information on how they can contribute to this in coming weeks. Partnership working is key in all of these matters. Working with our public protection partnership across authorities is vital. And lobbying has been mentioned. We've lobbied for electrification to Newbury Station, and that was achieved. Our local MP, Richard Benyon, has raised a petition for the UK to host the UN Climate Change Conference in November 2020. I would urge all members to support that petition and to extend that to friends and families and colleagues. There is no age limit. Children, join in. And this is not a party political campaign. Members, our work and our aim to review and monitor and improve our capabilities has been ongoing and continues to take place. Those that I've mentioned are just a snapshot. Thank you.
Councillor Somner. Councillor Culver.
Thank you very much. Right. According to scientific experts, we have 12 years to take action necessary to halt global warming at 1.5 degrees above industrial levels and avoid a dangerous tipping point. So this is an emergency, and we should be declaring an emergency this evening. We should not use a technicality in a petition which we've waited 4 months to debate as an excuse to not vote for a climate emergency. I agree with both other parties that we can go forward from this chamber and we can work together to come up with a strategy. Clearly that is not going to happen in the next 24 hours, but we should not use this as an excuse to not declare a climate emergency this evening. The public are here because that's what they want. They want to know I think the fact that we three here were elected on the 2nd of May with first past the post system with massive majorities shows that the public want action on the environment and they want action on climate change. And I think it's a degradation of our duty to the public if we walk away from here tonight using a simple technicality on the petition that was submitted 4 months ago. It is not the public's fault that they've had to wait 4 months for this to be debated. We should vote tonight for a climate emergency.
After courage.
First of all, I'd like to say how lovely it is to
see you all here this evening. I think it's really appreciated, and we're glad that you've come out, and we've certainly heard the messages, and it's refreshing actually to stand in this chamber and see such a broad sense of agreement. I don't think anybody is any dispute about it is the right direction to travel to declare a climate emergency, and that's really refreshing. And I would actually thank Councillor Masters for bringing this petition to us this evening and giving us this opportunity to do so. I'm willing to declare a climate emergency and work towards a 2030 target for zero carbon emissions, and use our influence, as Councillor Sumner has already said, to lobby central government. I think we acknowledge that much has been done already in our local area, and I think some of the stuff that both Councillor Sumner and Councillor Abbs have said are all things about positive action that we can do here, working together going forward. And I would echo Councillor Dillon's sentiments that this is really about how we can work together. I get it's frustrating that there is a technicality in the wording of the petition as it currently stands means that we can't accept it. And I understand your frustrations about that. You know, there's elements in there, you've already alluded to a strategy by the 1st of June. We were unable to do that. But there's a couple of other pieces as well. You ask us to pledge on areas that are outside of the control of West Berkshire Council, and as a council we can't do that. And there's terms like economic leadership, and I'm not clear what you mean by economic leadership and who that actually refers to, because there is elements that we can do as a council, but we cannot ensure that economic leaders across all of West Berkshire do the things. We can encourage and we can nudge them in the right direction, but we can't ensure it. So there is a little bit of work to do. And I think the right way to do that is, as we've suggested, is to take the options that are open to us and to commission that further investigation into the matter. And I'm more than happy to work cross-party on this petition. And in fact, we had a motion submitted by Councillor Clifford back in March 2019 with some of the same ethos. And I think together we'll be able to come up with a motion by the 2nd of July. And I can see Councillor Culver looking at me sort of with frustration. I just want you all to recognise I accept and welcome the leadership role that we all have in protecting our environment for future generations. I have children, I have grandchildren. And while we wait to formally ratify something, and we have to do that, I don't believe that there is an action that we can take in the meantime. You know, just because we are going through a process, there are actions that we can take, so we don't have to delay. Short term, you will have noted that as requested in the petition, I've already created a portfolio holder responsible for the environment. We've taken action. I also met with, and I can see some of them here tonight, the Young Climate Strike protesters. And I listened to them and listened to what they wanted and what it would take. I must say I do not support their strike action. However, I'm willing to assist them and they know that. We've had that conversation. But I am willing to assist them in ensuring that their voice is heard. And we've talked about forming a youth climate panel, which will then actively participate in decision making here in West Berkshire. I will also look at an active media campaign around how we raise awareness of this for all of residents across West Berkshire and make sure that they know what actions they too can take. Because we in West Berkshire Council cannot do this alone. We have to do it as a whole. And we will work as a council to make sure we raise that awareness. And we will look at how we can do that as well with our schools across West Berkshire, and look at a West Berkshire-wide school initiative that will enable some of our young people to get involved with that. Longer term, we will require all papers that come through to this council to include an impact consideration on the environment, and that's something within my gift to do and to start to act upon. And we will support an event, as Councillor Dillon's already mentioned, of all interested parties to become involved in making recommendations to a newly formed environmental board. And we can work the details of that. For me, it would probably be the early autumn, September time, October, so that we can ensure that people are back from holidays and that our young people are available, and then they're not in, do it at a time where they're not in school. So we can work on the detail of that. I am happy to commit to that.
Could I ask you to start your conclusion?
Yeah, just about.
Please, thank you.
Look, we've got a good track record in protecting and enhancing our environment, and we must now work together as enablers to ensure that everyone can work towards the same environmental goals while maintaining a thriving local economy and protecting the interests of all of our residents. And therefore, I would support Councillor.
Council. That has been seconded by Councillor Abbott. Those in favour, please show. Well, I'm going to put my hand up as well. There we go. That's unanimous. Well, sorry. Any against? Any against? Sorry. Any against? You're abstaining from that. You're abstaining. Right. So that is carried, and that concludes our business tonight.